Has TF2 changed? Well, I mean, yeah, duh, the Blutsauger can deal random crits now, of course it's changed. But I'm serious, when I ask the question, has TF2 changed, it's not like weapon balancing or gameplay tweaks, it's more so the way you refer to that one guy you knew in high school that smokes crystal meth now. It's not like, have you changed, it's more like, dude, you changed, man. Alright, so I'm not exactly making the most logical point here, so let me rephrase this. When I was 11 or 10 years old, I remember seeing my dad playing TF2 on his laptop. I was immediately drawn in by just how unique the game was. Keep in mind, this was 2011, so TF2 was still very fresh with its aesthetics. I remember being so fascinated by this game at just a glance that I created my very own Steam account just to play the game, unknowingly starting an 11-year-long addiction. I remember that the first weapon drop I ever got was the Charge and Targe. I remember feeling like a little baby Einstein when I figured out hitting direct pipes with the grenade launcher would cause them to immediately explode. I remember my first ever scam when I gave someone a strange candy cane and they said they'd PayPal me $5 in return, and I am still waiting for that $5 till this very day. I remember watching all of the Meet the Team videos with my friends at school and laughing when Spy said pornography. I'm not saying this just to go on a little trip down memory lane. If I was my 11-year-old self that was infatuated with TF2's aesthetic and gameplay just at a glance, and I put them in a match of TF2 today, I wouldn't have gotten that original experience. I'd be getting this. If this was the TF2 experience that I got all of those years ago, I probably would have quit after a week and went to play Kingdom Hearts again like the little twerp I was.
Say, fellas, did somebody mention the door to darkness?
Over the years, TF2 has undeniably, fundamentally changed. And it's not just that TF2 has changed, gaming as a whole has changed. The last Call of Duty game that I really got into was Black Ops on the 360. And besides learning slurs I didn't even know existed, it was this fun, yet gritty and grungy military tactical shooter. So imagine my surprise when I see this image on Twitter. I mean, what the hell am I looking at? You got Nicki Minaj in the foreground, you got the goddamn forest demon from Smiling Friends off to the side here. All of the grime and grunge of previous Call of Duty games has been pressure hosed off, and now all of those colors are super bright and saturated like it's trying to be Fortnite. And then I look elsewhere and there's this cat charm you can put on your gun and it says cringy Marvel lines when you shoot people.
Best not to turn your laser sight on. Might not see me the rest of the match. Let's clean the field of these a-holes. Right after I clean myself.
Ugh, what the heck? That makes me want to shrivel up into my own skin, it's so bad. Where's the grime? Where's the grit? Where's Call of Duty? All of the personality, uniqueness, and charm is gone, and in its place is some sort of bright imitation of what corporate suits think kids like. And it's not just Call of Duty either, it's damn near every popular online game now. Games are just glorified commercials for other IPs now. Constant battle passes and challenges that fight for your attention every 5 seconds. Because if you stop paying attention for even 5 seconds, you'll see that this game is just like all the others and you'll just flap your wings and move on to the next game. Former titans of the gaming industry have fallen into this trap as well and paid the price for it. But in this homogenized pile of IP crossovers, battle passes, and live service experiences, there's this little gem from 2007 that sticks out. But you want to see something that's not from 27 and sticks out? My Gamer Subs Shaker Cup. Yeah, talk about a hell of a segue. My writing team took weeks to cook that one up. But it's true. I like to have something to drink while I edit, play video games, or even to just carry around and sip on as I please. And over the past couple of weeks, Gamer Subs has been filling that role excellently. Keeps me feeling energized, alert, active, with none of the sugars and calories, so I can avoid looking like the average Reddit admin.
Blowhole Blast. I've actually been waiting to try this one on camera. Oh, no! Now let's give this bad boy a try. Yeah, that's good. That's good. It's good. It tastes like pina colada. That's good. Blowhole blast. Woo, 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 woo.
And the fantastic thing is if you're curious about gamer subs but you don't want to commit to a whole purchase, you can try this stuff for free. For 48 hours after I upload this video, you can try gamer subs for absolutely free. Just use code TheWhat and you can try any samples of your choice. No money has to leave your bank account and you can try a free sample with no strings attached. And even if you miss the free trial period, you can still get an awesome 10% discount on your purchase using my code. By supporting gamer subs, you are directly supporting myself, my 7 beautiful children, and my orphanage filled with sad Victorian-era children. Okay, so maybe I embellished a little there at the end, but please, go show gamer subs some support. They have some amazing products, they're funding some amazing things I've got planned, and I'd love for you to try them for yourself. Code TheWhat, baby! Link in the description and pinned comment. As I was saying, TF2 sticks out in the modern age. Compared to other games that have to fight for your attention with constant sensory overload, TF2 has none of that, minus a basic leveling system. There's no battle pass, no major updates, and only 2 seasonal events per year. Yet somehow this game has captivated mine and other people's attention for much longer than its modern contemporaries, and defies expectations by actually growing in players over time, despite a lack of content. TF2 is this beautiful little time capsule from a different era of gaming. In a world where every game is trying to be the next big esport with 7-figure prize pools and DJ Khaled on stage giving the worst live performance in human history, TF2 is a purely casual experience with a small, organic, grassroots competitive scene. In a world where games all look the same and the characters have about the same amount of depth as a kiddie pool, TF2 stands out with this amazing, unique style and 9 iconic characters people far outside of the game's player base will recognize. If modern gaming truly had its way with TF2, Soldier would be hitting the fucking gritty while dressed like Thanos, and then he'd say some dumbass voice line like, "I just dominated you, maggot. I do that now." And then you'd lose the match and the announcer would say, "You lost. Yeah. That just happened." And yet, I still see a metamorphosis happening. As the years go by, the submissions accepted into the game fit less and less into that original vision of TF2's world and style, and fit more into that modern style with absurdly wacky cosmetics that are silly and wacky just for the sake of it. And yeah, I get it, TF2 is a wacky game with a wacky universe. Abraham Lincoln invented rocket jumping because he was tired of stairs. But part of what makes TF2 so special is it's this own special kind of silly. There's a very stark difference between something like this and something like this. And just like modern games, TF2 is really starting to prioritize quantity over quality, with over 10 maps and new game modes starting to be added in every update. I remember a time when every new map and game mode was something to be celebrated. Not you. Not you. However, this new approach of adding maps with the purpose of overstimulating the players is having the opposite effect. The sheer amount of maps added and new updates spreads the player count thin, leading to bot-filled matches. Confession time, this is the first year in TF2 history that I haven't completed my Halloween contracts. We've got damn near 50 maps in the Halloween pool now, and so many matches were filled with bots or just straight up dead. It meant completing the contracts just wasn't fun, and it was a total fool's errand. There's just too much. And the sheer amount of game modes and maps means that they vary in quality greatly, with maps like Whatville and Frostwatch being examples of just horribly designed maps being accepted into the official map pool when they really shouldn't. And the fact that these updates are rushed means that the content in them is often lacking. The creators of Zombie Infection are still trying to play catch-up to this day because from inception to release, it was developed in like 2 months to be released during Scream Fortress, and as a result, we received a very rushed, unbalanced experience that loses its luster very quickly. It's a pattern I've seen all over modern gaming. Rush something out, then double back and try to save it later. It's what happened to Overwatch 2, and just recently, another Valve game. Counter-Strike 2 recently launched with an incredibly rushed launch. Most of the content from CSGO has been straight up removed, and since Counter-Strike 2 is on an entirely different engine, it's also broken a lot of the community modes as well. So what you have is essentially just a flat-out worse version of CSGO with less content. But it has a shiny new coat of paint. No doubt that in time, maybe even just a couple months from now, we'll see something that will significantly improve Counter-Strike 2 and make it worthy of being a sequel, but right now that is not the case. CS2 has also been struggling with hackers, something TF2 players can certainly relate to. Even if it's not on of as grand of a scale as TF2, the mere fact that CS2 is as infested with hackers as it is shows just how inept Valve is at keeping cheaters out of their games. We're getting close to year 4 of the bot invasion now, and it doesn't look like there's a solution anywhere in sight, despite countless lies from Valve, because that's what they are lies. And what happened to those community workshop fixes, Valve? It was the one solid thing you promised in years, and you still couldn't follow up on it. Does this fanbase mean that little to you? Not even a massive social media campaign could save TF2 from the bot problem. I was one of the original people behind Save TF2, and when we received that tweet, it really did feel like we broke through some sort of communication barrier and got Valve to finally act. Obviously, that aged like rancid milk in the hot summer sun, but it felt like we were really on a good path there. Now, despite some small tangible effects it had, Save TF2 was a failure. A swing and a miss from me. And now today, the whole thing is seen as some sort of marketing stunt for YouTubers. So I guess that was an even harder swing and a miss. Oopsie daisy. Valve is a company that I used to hold a lot of respect for, producing some of the greatest and longest lasting games ever made with a clear vision and execution. But they've started making the same decisions I relentlessly criticize other companies for. And I get it, it's not like Valve developed Zombie Infection. The person adding workshop submissions probably saw it on the workshop and decided it looked cool. But Valve is one of the biggest and most respected video game companies with an IP beloved by millions. We should really hold them to some sort of standard on what they add. And yeah, I get that subpar cosmetics and bad maps don't subtract from TF2 being great at its core, and it's kinda dumb to insinuate that these hats hurt TF2's gameplay, unless they do. I don't think for a second that these new additions make me want to stop playing TF2, or even enjoy the gameplay less. However, what these subpar additions do is slowly chisel away at the soul of TF2. That iconic look, that defining style. In a world with homogenized games, it sucks to see even an old titan like TF2 slowly give in. I saw a post on the Call of Duty subreddit today that really spoke to me today as I'm writing this. It just says, "What happened to the game I love?" And the part that sucks is that in a year or two, I could see myself saying the same thing about TF2, a game that I built my career on. What happened to the game I love? And the sad thing is that by just saying this, people will discredit me as someone who watched Death of an Art Style once and made it their whole personality, or a diehard fan of the unmentionable. And the people who throw these sorts of statements around are typically newer players, and I can't help but think it's because, you know, you're used to this TF2. I've seen what TF2 can truly be capable of, and I don't want to settle for less to this extent. I think all of this came to a head about a month ago, when another custom game mode was added to the workshop, this time Prop Hunt. I'm very late to the punch here on the huge Prop Hunt drama, but hear me out. This game mode is very similar to Zombie Infection in the way that these are both game modes that were created very quickly to meet a deadline for a seasonal update. Immediately, there was a big pushback. A pushback that I largely agreed with. It's so far removed from Team Fortress 2's core gameplay, it just wouldn't fit in the casual pool like Saxon Hail or even Zombie Infection did. However, there was a pushback to the pushback. mostly from newer players, and I saw a lot of defenses that I think stem from the state of modern gaming. One of the most common defenses for Prop Hunt I saw was, if you don't like it, just ignore it, don't engage with it. And like, how reductive of an argument is that? If you can't give feedback on something you don't like and can only interact with a medium in a positive manner, then what's the point of even creatively engaging with a medium at all? It's like having this beautiful ice cream sundae, and sure, the ice cream is great, it's immaculate, but someone put this green olive in your ice cream sundae. Sure, you could eat around the green olive and still enjoy the ice cream sundae as an experience, but the fact that someone put an olive in your ice cream just brings it down. And if you say, I don't want this green olive in my ice cream, are you a person who hates ice cream? No, you just don't want green olives in your ice cream. And when I play TF2, I see these poorly designed cosmetics and these poorly balanced game experiences. And sure, I'm still enjoying TF2 like a bowl of ice cream, but I have to eat around all of these olives, and it just distracts me from how good I know the ice cream sundae could be if they just stopped putting olives in it. I remember when this year's Scream Fortress update came out, I made a Twitter post about how I didn't like this goat head cosmetic that demo got, and someone in the comments accused me of trying to incite a culture war against workshoppers. And I remember thinking to myself, is just not liking the modern treatment of TF2 considered a culture war against the people who created content for it? And if so, would that not also include me, someone who makes content for the workshop and has had their work accepted into the game? Alright, confession time. I'm gonna let you guys in on a secret. Making war paints isn't an overnight process. Do you want to see some of the first war paints I made? Ugh! Gross! Yucky! Nasty! Get that slop off of my goddamn screen! I've seen some less nasty things on LiveLeak. And that's how I started out. But over time, I received negative feedback on my work, and I began to hear it out. I began making new war paints with criticism in mind, and eventually, I was able to create this well-beloved war paint that by some miracle actually made it into the game. Criticism is just a part of the creative process. If I saw someone on Twitter saying that they didn't like the business class war paint, my first response wouldn't be that this is literally a culture war against me. I'd go, what can I learn from this? How can I improve my work to avoid this in the future? It feels like the well has been poisoned to the point where genuine negative feedback, even if it's harsh, is seen as some sort of attack on workshoppers. And that's not a healthy mindset for any of the parties involved. If people who criticize workshop items keep being labeled as death of an art style zesty meat riders, then it's going to dissuade real criticism and only encourage that hostile type of behavior, which in turn leads to workshoppers buckling down and not listening to the feedback. TF2 is a game propped up by its community and their capacity to create. We as a community are the ones that change TF2. So even if you think that if you don't like something, just don't engage with it, that new stuff is all we got. So I think it's only fair to encourage a healthy debate so that we can receive the best possible version of what we can. TF2 is one of the last great first-person shooters, untainted, unwarped by all this modern-day bullshit. And I don't want there to be a day where I look at TF2 and I say to myself, what happened to the game I loved? I already had to do that for Overwatch, and let me tell you, there is still so much gas left in the rant tank for that franchise, I swear to God. TF2 is changing. It's not the same anymore. And to everyone watching, if you want TF2 to look and feel completely differently, and you want the gameplay to change so much that it doesn't even resemble the base game, do you even like TF2? We as a fan base shouldn't be settling for less. We should always be pushing for things to be better. And that's about all I had to say about that. But, you wanna know something depressing? I know a couple of you saw that Call of Duty cat charm and thought it would look good on the scattergun. Shame on you! Shame on you! Well, on a brighter note, this video was just a small project I whipped together before this month, where I am going on a trip to Europe to be a part of TF Connect, baby, woo! It's a big live stream event from December 16th to the 17th. There will be gags, there will be shenanigans, and all donations will go towards Special Effect, a charity that benefits the physically disabled and helps them get their game on. It's gonna be a great time, and I'm planning to film a banger vlog while I'm there, so stay tuned for that. Also, make sure to try GamerSupps. It's literally free, alright? There's no reason not to, and it's a business supporting the channel, and it helps make trips like my upcoming Sweden trip possible, and I'm super thankful for them. Alright, peace out. Mwah.